I built 100 farms in hardcore, and now I am going to fly around my world and show you every single one of them, hopefully. This is a follow-up to this video, and this is also going to kind of be a world tour. Now, I am going to be honest, I already recorded this video, and it ended up being about 2 hours long. My inventory is kind of a mess from that. So in this video, I am not going to go in detail on each farm because I just don't want the video to be 2 hours. So I also want to kind of talk about some things in the video, first of which will be about this. In the video, I had a bunch of Totem of Undyings, and I jokingly said that I didn't know what they did, so I just threw them in the fire. Now, to set the record straight, I know what totems do, but in this world, I have committed to not using them at all, so I jokingly said that. I guess if people don't know anything about the first video in this world, they might not know that, but yeah. So, first farm I'm gonna show here is the raid farm. So, the raid farm is right there, and then a couple hundred blocks or so is where my base is at. Hopefully this world tour will give you a good idea where everything is in my world, because I just don't have time to get a good idea of where everything is in the main videos. Also, I'm not going to go in order, because that would just take too long. I would be flying across, over, back and forth, all over the place. And speaking of which, this is the last farm that I built. This is like a classic mob grinder. And to address something you might have noticed, the audio is not quite good. You can probably hear my laptop running in the background. And you can probably hear my keyboard, mouse. That's because I'm recording this live. I don't usually do this. I usually record my voice and gameplay separate. So that's why the audio might not be as good as in the videos. So over here we have bee farms, chicken farms, wool, carpet, the other duplication farms, rails, string, and then we've got bamboo, sugarcane, which both work the same, and then kelp, wheat is right here, and then next to that we've got cow farm, sheep farm, these I'm probably not ever gonna use. Right here we got sniffer seed farm. This is full, by the way. I was not expecting to see this when I was recording the first version of this video. Vine farm. Over here we have a bunch of stuff that grows and gets collected with pistons. So right here is glowberries. This one, not really. This one uses a fox, which is pretty unique, but it's full. This is a sweetberry farm, I think they're called. Dripstone. And then 2 other types of vines. This is a mud converter, seagrass, grass, and fern farm. This is a farm I built in the first hardcore video for pumpkins and melons. Over here, this is the clay farm, which is basically a mud farm that is extended to convert it to clay. I ran it a bit in the first recording. It'll kind of work like a conveyor belt. I place down dirt manually, it turns it into mud, pushes it along, and eventually it goes into a TNT blast chamber type thing. Over here, this is for like nether plants, like fungus. Next to that, moss farm. Right here, this is a mangrove tree farm. I do have a farm for each tree type. Mangrove right there, the nether trees right there and behind that. Cherry wood right there. Dark oak right there, and then all the other types of trees is right here. And then to go with the mangrove tree farm, I have a propagule farm right here. And then this is supposed to be a netherwort farm, but I ran it in the last video and haven't reset it yet. When I say last video, I meant the first recording of this video, which I've scrapped by now. Behind that is probably the farm that I've ran the most, my bone meal farm, and I actually expanded this by 1 more layer since I ended recording on the 100 farms video. This is very, very useful. Next to that, the tree farm, as I mentioned. Back here, this is for chorus fruit, similar to the netherworts. It uses water to collect it, and I ran it, and I haven't planted it back yet. I built two of the same farm designs. This one I use for the warped, and that for the crimson. Down here, this is for specifically the chorus flower. Yes, that is what it's called. That's the dark oak tree farm. This is an automatic mushroom farm, which is not nearly as fast as just manually growing mushrooms and collecting them, but it's automatic. I don't have to do anything besides like build it for the first time. So that's what I like about that. And then over here we have a farm for red mushroom blocks like that. And then over here, this is for brown mushroom blocks. Behind those is the dirt farm. This is probably the most complicated farm that I made. That was like the hardest to set up and everything. So let me get back here, get another view. This farm is insane. Alright, past the dirt farm, I'm gonna fly a little bit because the copper farm is back here. It's a little ways away. I wanted to build it above an ocean. There it is. I showed that working in the last video. And then over here, which is kind of in between, I have the squid farm still not working, but if I ever need a ton of ink sacs, I can drain the rivers around this to make it work better. Other than that, like the build itself is done. Just, yeah, not gonna have any, it's just not gonna produce a lot of stuff. On the other side of my base, I have this iron farm, which is insanely good. Let me go back in here just to show you. Like, this thing is insane. I've had to multiple times come back here and compress stuff into shulker boxes and like iron blocks. This farm is loaded while I am in my base, so that's probably why it's made so much iron. Next to that, we got the stone farm. This bunch of nether portals is to make sure that my pickaxe doesn't break while I'm using it. Over here we've got phantom farm, turtle farm. This, in the video, I did not show this finished because I had to wait for some of the eggs to hatch. Whoops. I had to wait for some of the eggs to hatch, and now it's fully working. Back here we've got a music disc farm, and then over here is powder. Oh, it's actually going to be working now. I'm not usually in this area when it's snowing, but this powdered snow farm should be filling up with powdered snow, and also the ice farm as well. If we fly back to this red beacon right here, this beacon is coming from the bottom of the ocean there, and that is because underground I've got some stuff. Down here, this makes me nervous every time I fall down a big elevator like that. I know I'm safe, but I'm still just nervous about it. Down here we've got the quote-unquote diamond farm, which is a tunnel bore. I clicked it once for demonstration purposes in my first recording of this video, and it actually did reveal some diamonds. That was probably like a 2x2 clump right there. Back here, this is the amethyst farm. And then in the corner of this big room, we have a squid farm, a glow squid farm, which is very inefficient, even less than my mushroom farm. To make this work better, I would probably have to go around the caves around here and light them up and drain some water. But I haven't really been hard pressed for a lot of glow ink sacs right now, so not too worried about that. Going back up, and I believe I showed everything. Oh yeah, the cobblestone farm, stone farm, first two I made in the video. sea pickle farm right there. I think I forgot to mention that. And then inside of my base, I built farms for each of the tall flowers, which is rose bushes, sunflowers, peonies, and lilacs. Also, pink petals, glow lichen, cocoa beans, and big droop leaf. And then I've got snow in here. Above that, we've got villagers for every single tradable book in the game. And I also replaced the sign, as I said I would, with mangrove. I think that's all of the farms that are in this general area. So, to find the rest of them, we're gonna go through the nether portal. And this is where farms start to get more spread out. Right away, basalt farm, right there. Back there, that is my end portal. Nether portal, I guess? The nether portal that leads to the end portal. That is my froglight farm. If I fly in this direction, this is a portal to a jungle, which is near spawn. And it's night right now, and it's raining, so it might be a little hard to see, so I'm going to turn on Gamma Override, so it's easier to watch. And back here, this is where I used to get sand, and also some terracotta. I had to build a coral farm here because this is where a worm ocean is. Now to fly all the way back to that portal. Okay, if we head in the opposite direction of where my base is at. To the left, this is a portal to the concrete factory / gravity block duper, which also serves as the other side to a trunk loader. This is the gravity block farm. The reason this has to be built in a very specific location is because, oh gosh, there is an end portal right there that it needs to have. Alright, let's go back. Oh gosh, I'm on fire. If we head in the opposite direction as we were going, eventually we'll reach the Guardian Farm portal. The portal I built on this little island that's far enough away so it doesn't interfere with the farm. There it is, and there's also a platform set up there. So that's the Guardian Farm. That's like the only thing that is built in this area. Oh. Okay, and if I go in this direction, that is the Ghast Farm, which might be the furthest out I've ever built something. And I think that's because it has to be in a certain nether biome. Actually, no, I think my wither skeleton farm is probably built out even farther than that. So, we're back. That is the portal that leads to my base. This time we'll head in this direction. That over there, pretty much the same thing as the concrete farm, but that one is for sand. I'm not going to go through there. You can imagine what that looks like. It's the same exact design, except I am duplicating sand instead of concrete. So now I'm going to have to fly 2,000 blocks in this direction. Okay, we should be coming up on my wither skeleton farm. There it is. Some of it is also built below here. If I use free cam, you can see this is the spawning platform. Now to go all the way back. Alright, I'm gonna start heading left because that will bring me to my gold farm. Right there. And then pretty close to that is a bartering farm. And then further out, that's the, oh wait, I should probably go here. That is the end portal. This is going to a mountain biome. Right here. This is where I have a goat horn farm. And for a special treat for those who are watching this video and have made it so far, this is where I'm going to be spending most of my time in the next video. So there's a little hint for you on what's coming up. Alright, that was the only thing in that general area. Back here we've got a portal to a swamp, and I've got 2 farms in here. Okay, mainly the slime farm, which I've used quite a bit, because slime is pretty useful. And then over here I have a blue orchid farm, which is built like a pretty good flower farm design that only gets blue orchids because it's built in a swamp. I should mention, recently Mojang announced that since raid farms are going to be broken in 1.21, they buffed witches to drop more redstone. Unfortunately, I finished building 100 farms before that announcement came. If I hadn't, I definitely would have made a witch farm. But you know, I can always still do that in the future. Alright, that is all the nether and overworld. Actually, I just remembered one more farm I haven't shown that's in the nether. Back here, that is my hoglin farm. That's where I get all my food. And it's, you know, somewhat close to my portal base. Or my base portal, whatever. Okay, and over here, we're gonna finish up by talking about some of the farms that are in the end. This is the end portal that I used to get to the end. This used to be a chunk loader, and this is like remnants of my obsidian farm, which is now broken because of this. This is the end side of my gravity block farm, which can collect stuff like sand, but it also can convert concrete powder into normal concrete. Gotta be careful flying over the void. Here's a better look at that. Down there, that is a skulk farm, which uses an enderman farm and turns the dead enderman into skulk. And then over here on the other side, this is a pretty much standard enderman farm. In the middle, that is a wither rose farm down here. And then right here is a void trading setup. And then final farm, I believe, that I haven't shown, is the shulker farm. And as far as that, oh gosh, I just angered an enderman. I'm gonna chill out in here to do the outro. As far as I know, that is every farm that I built in my 100 farms video. If you have any questions, or if there's anything that you noticed that I have missed, let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to respond to any questions or whatever. Otherwise, that's all I got for now. Bye. I'm gonna stay here for the rest of my life.